lie there in that old curiosity shop.
There it is. There's the piece of furniture in the back of my truck. Now there's a lot of wind out here today, so I don't know if you can hear me or not. But I'm going to talk anyway, and if the wind is too bad, I will go inside and do a voiceover. Now you say, well, okay, it's a bookcase, a two-door bookcase, very nice. What's so unusual about that? Well, let me stand it up and we'll talk about it. Well, basically what we have here is a two-door bookcase made sometime in there, I would say right around 1920. Up to about 1925. Now I can get pretty specific on that. A couple of reasons. The design, the style. Also, one of the dead giveaways is this type of teardrop pull that's used here. This is a really this is a piece of hardware that was popular in the 1920s. Okay. Now, the reason why I say it's homemade, I've been messing around with Depression era furniture for a very long time, and this one is definitely something that someone built at home. The indication is, well, when I bought it, I didn't really take a look at the back at all. I'm going to show you the back in just a minute, and that's what makes it really special. It's not made out of mahogany, it's not made out of walnut, but it's stained to look that way. You can see it really is just a laminate plywood here, so again, nothing special. But the person who made it did a very good job on it. It has its original finish and its original glass, which I really like. Go ahead and pop it open all the way for you. Now the shelves are stationary, which I prefer them not to be, because then I can alter them depending on what size books I'm putting in the case, or you know what I'm going to put in it. But these shelves don't move at all. That's okay. Close it back up. One of the things I like about it specifically is its size. I'm sorry, I hesitated because somebody's having an argument and they are cursing. I hope you can't hear that. I do like the size. Great big heavy hulking bookcases are not always an easy thing to move, but an added feature here are the two drawers at the bottom, which is fantastic. Yeah, this is really nice. The gentleman or gentle lady who built this, as I said, did a really nice job. I negotiated a price with the dude who was selling it. I was happy with the price, he was happy with the price. And when I went to load it into my truck, I got a surprise when I turned it to the back, and I see super fantastic. They used an old Victrola. Let me turn it around. All right, I know there's a shadow going right here, so you can barely see it. A Victrola cabinet was used. I'm sorry, a Victrola crate. Now, when Victrolas were shipped, they were usually shipped by freight, and they were bolted inside of crates, wooden crates, and then shipped to dealers all across the country, shipped out of Camden, New Jersey. And they were shipped in these boxes. Now, it's amazing that the gentleman who built, or lady who built the cabinet, actually recycled an old Victrola crate, which I love. Sadly, I know exactly what these crates look like. They're valuable, they're hard to find, and not only did they cut the top of nipper off, but you can barely see right here in red, right up here in red, over the top in red, it did say Victrola or Victor Talking Machine Company, and they cut that off. If that had still been on there, I would, if the whole thing had been on there, I would have taken this back off and preserved this and just put another back on from some other bookcase. It wouldn't really have affected the value, and I could have put an old piece of wood on there, and you would never know that I switched it out. So yeah, that's it right there, and we can see Nipper listening to the old-fashioned phonograph, and it says His Master's Voice Victrola, the gift that keeps on giving. Okay, so, and that's really fantastic. But then I don't know why I wish there's all this dead space down here, but the person who built this cabinet, you know, this was just a worthless crate, and so they weren't really thinking about preserving this. They just cut it right off. So you know what? That's just kind of an added bonus. I'm going to leave it on there and not take it off because we don't have a full backing to the crate. Otherwise, as I said, I'd pull it off and frame it, put it on the wall, and it would be rather valuable. Collectors of Victrolas love those old crates. Another thing I like about antiques, and we can really see this in the sunlight, this is the wonderful old shellac. Now some people would say, ooh, look at that, it's all crinkled up, and you can see where it's been in an attic somewhere and it's bubbled up here and it looks terrible, let's strip it. No, 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 no. This is what we love about antiques. This old crackle is sometimes referred to as alligator hide, and it takes years and years and years for that to happen. So there is no way I would strip off that old shellac that's on this cabinet. Going to leave it right on there. Don't you find that to be very attractive? I certainly do. So there's just one more glance at the cabinet. I paid $50. 50 bucks. Tell you what, that'll last. Well, it's a heartbreak, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. Oh my goodness, anybody who collects Victrolas recognizes this cabinet. This is the famous Orthophonic with the exponential horn on the inside. This is a tremendous, tremendous machine. Came out in the late 20s. It was very expensive. When you find them today in great condition, they're 500 bucks and upwards. This cabinet is beautiful. It's got the original finish on it and everything, and I'll just show you. It is an orthophonic machine, meaning it does not run off of electricity. There's a great big horn, it's a wooden horn, it's an exponential horn. It's all wrapped within itself inside. Original grill cloth in good shape. And the side doors here are for your record storage. Let me just back up because I don't think you can see the whole thing. Yeah, it's a big machine. They were beautiful when they were made. And over here you're going to see the ghost mark where the escutcheon was for the crank, and they've plugged up the spot where the crank was. And then when we look on the inside, they've taken out the acoustic motor board, and at some time in the 1940s or 50s, someone has put this electrical piece in, which is a Western Chicago. But back here we can see the Victor plate. The VV8-30, these are where the needles would go, the needle cups. And then this is the where you would place your records that you were not playing. And then there's the decal on the inside. They're asking $100 for this. There on the back we can see the speaker that's put in there. There's actually a tube amplifier up in there. I don't know how well you can see that. Sorry, somebody's walking by making a lot of noise. They're asking $100 for it. That's not bad for this cabinet, because the cabinet, again, is excellent. And I would consider that just to hold on to the cabinet. Because somewhere out there, one of these days, I'll find an Orthophonic in a cabinet that's been trashed, but has all of its innards. So this can actually be restored. Okay, let's keep shopping. as we continue to listen to the familiar tune Glowworm, played by the Victor Salon Orchestra. We're going to take a look at another piece of furniture that every 1920s home had. Wouldn't be complete without one. Yep, a sofa table or console table. Now look at what I'm pointing at. There's a crack down the middle. No, you already figured it out. This table splits apart and there's a leaf underneath there. You could expand this table into a library-sized table. Now, library-sized tables or library tables were larger, and oftentimes they weren't necessarily used in libraries, but in various rooms in the house. And you could have books on them or lamps, or they could be used as a writing table. So this is a nice mahogany table, dates to the mid-20s, and it is super fantastic. I think it was priced at $45. That's a steal. Now, metaphorically speaking, let's step into the Depression-era bedroom. Here's a wonderful walnut bed made of veneer or covered in veneer, typical of that era. Wouldn't have been terribly expensive. Mass-produced. This is a nice one and better made than many of the Depression-era beds I've seen. But this one probably dates to right around 1930, late 20s into the early 30s. It's very decorative. It's very nice. Double bed. But look at the one next to it. We're going to take a close-up look and you'll recognize Tiger Maple. Now, this one is also probably going to date you the Depression era, and there were several companies that made really fine furniture out of Tiger Maple in that era. So it's a small twin bed, and is it just me, or does this angel look like Tallulah Bankhead? All right, I know, I'm jumping all around again. Look, I'm in a thrift shop, and somebody decided to improve this lamp, quote unquote, improve it. That's not the original color, so I didn't buy it, but I do like these lamps with the fluorescent light bulbs in them. 1950s and 60s with that gooseneck. That looks like something from the Brady Bunch. Wouldn't be bad if there were two, but I only saw that one. Oh. These are going to be for sale. Look in my cart. Some bookends, and it's an adorable triplet. Well, 3 kids playing tug of war. PM Craftsman, Philadelphia manufacturing company. Now, it was in Philadelphia, but it did move to Florida, and they continued making bookends like this in the 50s and 60s from some new molds and some old molds. But here we see together the 6 of these tykes out on the playground having a tug of war. And they're in really good condition, and they will be for sale.